What makes a game feel real great is audio. It can be background music or simple sound effects that are played when an action is made. Either way, audio is a must for every game. So I'm going to show you my very easy and simple way to make an audio manager. This audio manager will let you call on it in any script without having to do any referencing, so it's a clean and easy solution for small indie games. So implementing this is easy. We start in Unity. You want to go and create a new game object and rename the game object to Audio Manager. And inside this, you want to add an audio source component. Then you want to create a C# script and call it Audio Setup. Now before we open Audio Setup, we want to create two more C# scripts. The first one being Audio Track, and the second C# script will be called Audio Utilities. And we will create these two scripts inside the project folder and not on the game object, because these two scripts won't ever be attached to any game objects. So now that the basic setup is done, what we will do first is open up the Audio Track script. When the script is open in your code editor, you want to remove the start and update methods and then remove mono behavior. And the reason we get rid of mono behavior is because mono behavior is for scripts that will be attached to a game object. The script will not be attached to any game objects ever, and therefore it doesn't need to inherit from mono behavior. So now what we want to do is, above the class, is type system.serializable. This will enable the data in the class to be visible inside the inspector in Unity. After that, we will add two variables, one string variable called track title and an audio clip variable called track clip. And that's our first script complete. Only two more to go, and it's easy so far, right? So going back to Unity, we want to open up the audio utility script next. This is easy too, but it may be a little new to some people. So what we want to do is get rid of mono behavior again, and then remove the start and update method. Then we want to make the class a static class. And then we want to create two more variables. One variable being a public static audio source called audio source. The other variable will be a static dictionary that will take a string as the key and an audio clip as the value. And we want to call this tracks. Then using a new keyword, we will initialize this dictionary. Next, we will create a few public methods. The first being a static function called setAudioSource. This is a void and takes the parameter of audio source. What we will then do is set the audio source variable to equal the parameter called source, which is easy, right? We will then move on, and the next static function will be called addTracks. This will also be a void and takes the parameter of track title as a string and track clip as an audio clip. All we do is then add the parameter to our dictionary. So track.add track title and then track clip. The final function in this class will be called playTrack. This is a void and takes the parameters of track title, which will be a string. Then we do a simple conditional check. So if track.contains key, and then we pass in the track title, so if the name of the audio track inside our dictionary exists, we want to then set that clip to our audio source. So we do audio source.clip equals tracks, and in square brackets type track title. Then we want to play the clip, so we type audio source.play. And with that, we're done. But for good measures, we will add a quick else statement which does a simple debug.log to say that if the track doesn't exist, we can't find the track title. And with that done, we can head back into Unity and let the script compile. Back in Unity, there's now only one more thing to do, and that's to go into the audio setup script and set up the audio manager. So we'll open that script up. Now that the script is attached to a game object, we will be using mono behavior this time. What we are going to do is create two private variables and make them serialized fields so we can view them in the inspector. The first variable will be called tracks, and it will be type of audio track, and that will be set as an array. So this is the first class we created, and you'll see how this looks in the inspector in a short moment. The second variable will be an audio source called main source. We will then get rid of update and focus only on the start method. What we are going to do is type audio utilities, the static class we made, and then type dot set audio source and pass our main source in as a parameter. The last thing we want to do for the setup is to do a for each loop. So for each item inside our track array, we want to do audio utilities dot add track, and then pass in item dot track title and item dot track clip. With that, everything is now set up in the initial setup. Now you can simply call audio utilities in any class you want and call on the method play track, and this will play the audio track if the title you've given is found. To demonstrate this, I will create a public string variable called track name and pass into the parameter of play track name. This is just so I can easily show you how it's working in the inspector. So back in Unity, all we have to do is set up the data inside the inspector and it'll be all good to go. So we can drop our audio source inside our main source. Then inside the track array, I'll create two elements for demonstration. I'll put two different audio source clips in and give the track symbol names, track 1 and track 2. Now inside track name, if I put track 1 and then click play, you'll hear track 1 playing in the background. When I change this value to track 2 and click play, you now hear track 2 playing. Now, you have to remember, this audio utility stop play track method can be called inside of any script without you having to make any references by creating additional variables and doing GameObject.find or however you were doing it before. All you got to do is simply call on this method and pass in the track name you want to be played. So that's all for this guide. If you want a part 2 where we expand on this, let me know. If not, I'll work on something else. So till the next one.